Hello, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and I am here in my sewing room tonight on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. And we are going to be talking about the butterfly quilt. We had a couple weeks off because I was at Quilt Market, and then I had just gotten back from Quilt Market, and I was emptying all sorts of amazing boxes of all sorts of really amazing things. And now we are going to come back and talk about it. So I am going to make sure that we have the chat and that everything is all connected, and then we can get started. So let us know that you're here so that we can make sure that we have everything going just right and that you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me. I think I see that. Um, I see the volume working, so that's pretty cool. If this is the first time joining us, our butterfly quilt is a program that we have just started. It is this Tula Pink Butterfly Quilt 2.0 pattern booklet that we have available in the store. We have kits available, but we're also offering you to play along with your stash. And I have a couple of the blocks behind me that we've been working on. And hi, Renee, I can see that someone's on, so thanks so much. I'm just going to quick get up here so I can show you the blocks that we have done. So this one here, this is the first block that we had done. It was the intersection block. There are 10 of these blocks in 5 different colorways. Then we had the chunky cross. We made 10 of those in 5 different colorways. The floating cross, which was a smaller kind of version of this particular block, and we made 8 of those. I had accidentally skipped the stripes because I was so excited, so we'll be working on those tonight. And then we had hopped over to the large log cabin. Now, keep in mind when we are making these blocks that we are making both for the right and left side of the butterfly. So if you had wanted to make sure that they are going to be symmetrical, you would make 2 of each. And if you want to have it be crazy, then you would make sure that they didn't blend. But in this case, I am going to do my best to make sure that I have symmetrical wings here. Now, I have from time to time gone ahead and done a couple substitutions in here. So feel free to substitute along the way if you were wanting to make the quilt your own. So even if you have a quilt kit, I do encourage you to, maybe sub in a piece or two or change a fabric or another, just so that you know that it is your quilt. And that can be super fun and exciting to do that. So thanks to everybody who's hopping on. We are going to pick out our fabrics, and I am just looking down at my lower camera and I see that it is not picking up what we are showing you. So I'm just going to take it off of this. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oops. Ooh, Cynthia is tracking the hurricane. Ooh. So you stay safe. And thank you to everyone who is coming and saying hello. Hi, everyone. So I have a giant pile of fabric in front of me here, and what I need to do is pick out what we need. So in this particular block, because I said we're going to go back to the strips. So this is super easy, but we need to kind of get back on track. And so I know Linda had come in. She hasn't to pick out some of her fabrics. So not Linda who said hi, but another Linda. And she said that she has gotten through the first 2 blocks, but she feels like she's fallen behind. And she's worried that we are heading into the holiday season, that we are going to just be going crazy and going too quickly. So I promise you, we are not going to go too quickly because I have the holiday season as well. So we are going to make our stripe blocks, and our stripe blocks, we just have 2 fabrics per block. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick out some fabrics and cut them out and sew them together. How does that sound? So looking back on the reference here, and let's see here. Oops, my other camera went away here, so that's all right. We will just, we won't worry about that, and we will uh, point the other one down a little bit so that we can see. Don't pay attention to my giant mess. You know, it's just a sewing room, so we have lots of projects going on. I'm sure none of you can relate to having tons of projects going on. Let's see here. How can we do this here? Da, 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 da. So we have, where's Frank when you need him? Come on, Frank. All right, well, I'm just going to hold up fabrics to show you because, well, I don't think I can make this happen. Huh. So let us come back over here. And I'm going to pick out some beautiful pinks for us today. So we need a dark pink and a light pink. And if we go to the reference here on the back page, you can see we are going to reverse engineer the fabrics of what we need. Ooh, look, this is nice and close up today. So the first one we're going to worry about is this one right here. And this is two solid. So we're going to have that light pink and the brighter pink. And the light pink is the sweet pea. And then we're going to use Stargazer. So here is our Stargazer. And then I'm going to go through my fabrics here. And I'm going to pick out my sweet pea. There have been a couple other months where I have gone through, or weeks where I've gone through and picked out my fabrics beforehand, but I had to make sure I could vote. And I know you all agree that that was a very important thing to do. So I made sure to come home and then just hop on for our video. All right, so we are going to have Stargazer, and then we will have Sweet Pea. So that is number one. And Linda, who's on right now, has asked us to make sure that we can share with you which fabric pairings that we're actually putting together. So I'll make sure to post that in this video after we are done as to which ones we put together. Next up, we are going to use Stargazer, and which is this one right here. And then we are going to pair it with the beautiful mineral, the mineral in pink. We have all sorts of minerals. The mineral in pink. Here it is. Beautiful, 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 right there. Okay. And then we're going to take the mineral pink, but we're going to also pair it with cerulean, or which one is, I like to call it cerulean, but that's not the one. It is, I made an extra page of this one. So this can be, I highly recommend that you make an extra page of your fabric pieces so that you can be referencing them on your pattern page as well as while you're picking out your fabrics. So we're going to be using carnelian. That's what it is, carnelian, and our mineral and agate. Okay. And then finally, we are going to be pairing two oranges together. And our oranges are positioned right here. So it is our big palm and then a solid. And the solid is the solid that we used in, that we pair along with it. So it is Snapdragon. So let us get our orange dot that we have floating around here. And then the snapdragon is this one right here. Okay. So we've from time to time used the tiny dot, but today we are going to go ahead and use our big dot. All right, so pairing number one is we have the dot and the snapdragon. We have our red here with our agate. We have the agate with the stargazer, and then we have the stargazer with our sweet pea. So there we have it. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cut a bunch of stripes so that we can sew them together. Sound good? All right, let's do it. And let us see if I can change this little. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Look at this. All right. See all my gorgeous fabricness. Okay, so hopefully this isn't going to weigh itself down. Are we positioned pretty good? Can you see my hands? Oh, we are really zoomed in today. Really zoomed in. All right. Well, we like to zoom in, right? So let me put away some fabrics. If anybody has any questions here or any comments, please feel free. I can chime in and tell you all about some fun stuff that we did at market. So just let me know if there's anything that you've been dying to know. So this one here, I don't have anything pressed ready to go, so we'll just give it a quick little press over on our pressing board. Give it a little starch, give it a little press. I'm running away from you for a second. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so what we do here, just going to share, I'm not pressing in front of you, but we are going to spray it. Okay, I'm spraying it. And we're going to let it sit in. Okay, so we let it sit in. And so, Linda, I have been making sure to not reveal. I know you have the pattern, but this is not a private group. And so, out of courtesy to Tula, we are not actually revealing our strip cuts sizes, okay? So, since these are small cuts that we're putting little logs together, you can make long strips that you subcut. And I apologize that we are not sharing all of the details here, but this is just sew along with us as we are putting this together. Right. So I just grabbed here the first color that I had. And this one is, oh, what am I calling it? I keep on changing its name, don't I? This one is our carnelian. 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 And we have our Snapdragon. One of the things that our quilter who is playing along, she decided that every time possible, instead of using a solid, she wants to use a fairy dust whenever possible. So that's pretty cool. So have any of you been watching all the things that Tula's been sharing about her new market releases? About her thread and anything like that? So this one here for our palms, the way that this finishes, I'm actually going to kind of cut it a little bit fussier because we want to make sure that the dots end up in the center. So, okay, of this here. We want to make sure that the dots end up in the center of the stripe. So when I fussy cut this, so these are 1 inch wide, okay? These dots are 1 inch wide. So if I'm going to have a seam allowance on it, I am going to have it so that I have 1/4 of an inch on either side of the dot. And by doing so, I'm going to waste every other strip. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to cut this. And so you can see I have a seam allowance here, but I don't have, I've cut off to the tip there. Then I'm going to flip it. And actually, that was a little bit not enough. Okay, I misspoke. I want to make sure that I have I'm going to make sure that I have 3/8 on each side. Okay, so let's do this again. Okay, so we're going to have 3/8, and on the rotary mate ruler here, there is a dashed line that is the 3/8, okay? Can you see that here? I'm not sure if you can see that. Okay, so the dashed line there, gonna line that up, trim it away. Check on all of my dots that I'm working with. Okay, so then you can see I'm actually cutting a little bit more into that one. So I have a little bit of extra there. Gonna line it up. Make sure I have my 3/8 on my other side. And then that gives me the full width that I need. And my strip looks like this, okay? So that as I'm going to be sewing, I'll have my dots in the center there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to cut them so that I can also get what I need centered, if that makes sense. Double check my dimensions here for what I need. And in order to get this sizing on here, it's checking here how it will look. I want to get two here. And I'm just doing reverse math here. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so using the orange dot to have it centered, it looks, let me see if I can get this so you can see it. It will look like that, okay? So you can, of course, make it so that it's not super fussy cut, but if you wanted those dots to be perfectly fussy cut, this is what that orange bar is going to look like. Now you do need, so this I can tell you, you need a total of 6 of those units, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a few more of those so that we can have them look just like that. So have any of you been able to work on your butterflies at all? Or have you been too busy trick-or-treating and doing other amazing stuff this fall? I know that there's a lot of retreats going on this fall. Lisa just came back from retreat. She had a lovely time and told us all about it. We have in the Moon Garden fabric from Tula, which is super exciting. We are going to be getting in a whole bunch more. So we do have everything available on our website. And for anything that we're out of, we are offering the availability, or we recommend that you go ahead and pre-order anything so that you can make sure that when that extra yardage comes in, that it's allocated for your order. So let's see. Oh, Beth, it looks like you got to catch up on everything. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's see, what was the best thing I got to see at market? Well, I would say probably the best thing I got to see at market was, well, of course, I got to meet or get to hang out with Tula a little bit. It was super fun doing that. It was a little bit different of a market, that there was a lot less people there, so we had a greater opportunity to sit and chat. So that was really, really nice that we got to talk along the way, and it wasn't simply quick, 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 in, out, and waiting in line a lot to talk to people. So that was really fun. I did get to see Tula's new neon fabric up close, and that was really spectacular. I honestly love it a lot more than I thought I would, because I would say in general, I mean, I love her bold designs, but I wouldn't say that I love neon per se. But these were just so spectacular, so that was really exciting. So that was fantastic. Um, but just going back, that being able to sit and talk with so many of the industry professionals was by far the most valuable time that I had there. So it was very enjoyable to be able to do that. The thing that was surprising was there were quite a few of our vendors that weren't there. So that was surprising. Um, I know that attendance was off and registration started really late, so a lot of people didn't quite know what would be happening. So that's understandable. It just was, I had made lists for reorders for some of my vendors and they weren't there. So that was surprising. Trying to think of other good things to tell you. We had, let's see, just, I mean, lots and lots of really great inspiration as always. Oh, I picked up an amazing new iron, which I am going to share with you actually next time we are together. It should ship by then. It is a reliable steam iron and pretty cool. So I want to share that with you to be able to, well, just of course, see all the amazing stuff. These are tiny, 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 tiny. Really? They're that tiny? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I need to cut a whole bunch more stuff. Were there amazing things that any of you saw on the Instagram feeds that you want to make sure that I saw? You know, there's always so much delicious fabric. We can never have enough. And I ordered a ton, a ton, a ton of some new Shannon Cuddle. Oh, super cool. Super soft, super yummy. Of course, ordered a bunch of Tula, both of the new things that are coming out this spring, as well as restocking, because, well, you know, we got to make sure that we always have all of the solids and all of the true colors always, always, always in stock. So that's important. The I had one of the things that Tula displayed with her new Everglow fabric is she displayed stuffed animals. So that was really crazy. I got to meet with the designer from Funky Friends Factory, which has the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuffed animals that Tula loves, and also that Teresa from Shannon Fabrics loves. So played with those. And I don't know if you can see here as I'm cutting very um, crazy like I have stacked up. So when I'm cutting my fabrics, I stack them and cut them. I make a double cut and then come back. And no, I haven't forgotten about having a generic cutting lesson with everyone. We are busy getting in a whole bunch of fabrics to finish out the year. And so then we'll be able to get back to programming of different interesting tidbits for everyone. Been brainstorming how we can do some not live moments that are a little bit more choreographed. We love, love, love to be with you live, but sometimes for some of the educational stuff, it makes more sense to have a little bit more rehearsed content that then you can reference back and then is a little bit shorter so that you don't have to, you know, watch hours of content to try to figure out how to do one little thing. So that is one thing that we are actively working on to be able to create great content for you in 2023 and beyond. Did I ask you last time how many of you are interested in English paper piecing? I don't know if you saw that amazing, amazing, amazing quilt along that Tula is going to be doing. Well, with Pink Door Fabrics. It's designed by Pink Door Fabrics, and Tula is going to be stitching along in 2023. And it's, oh my goodness, it's amazing. You know, I honestly have only dabbled in English paper piecing. So it does seem a little bit intimidating, but the one thing about it is that if it's a slow stitch that everyone is playing along with, it could be a ton of fun. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I think about it. I mean, I know I'm excited for it and it's gorgeous. Just all sorts of different techniques. The other thing that is really fun and exciting, I had met with Stephanie from Hobbs Bonded Fiber, and we're working on setting up a date to do a batting education for all of you. Doesn't that sound exciting? And then I was thinking about taking it a step further to book a presentation where Rhonda uh, from Schmetz Needles would get together with Stephanie so that they could answer your questions about batting and needle combinations. So, you know, I've been a shop owner for 17 years. I've quilted for more than that. I've long armed, I've sold all sorts of stuff. And what's really amazing is even the things that I've learned over the past couple, over the things that I learned from Stephanie at Quilt Market. So I am going to, we cut a bunch of stuff. I didn't cut everything, but I think we should sew a little bit. What do you think? I think we should sew. Let's see here. Doo-doo-doo. So I'm going to, I know Ginny always likes it when I show you what I'm sewing instead of just talking to you. So we'll do some of that. So apparently, I don't have a lot of this. Oh, I see more of that. So I'll have to cut some more of that because, well, it's over there. So what we'll do is we're going to sew some of this to some of this. We're going to make some pairs and then we're going to sew our pairs together. And then I'm also going to sew some of this together. How does that sound? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my scrap piece of fabric because, why am I doing this? I am doing it because I like to have a leader on the start. So I don't have my, uh, so I don't have a bobbin's nest full of, I didn't say that right. So I don't have the big chunky fabric on the bottom. I don't have knots. That's what it is, knots. All right, so I'm sewing. I am putting my right sides together. With your solids, you know, it's hard to tell you're right and you're wrong. I'm going to sew for this first little guy here. I am going to sew both sets for my right and left. So I feel like I have accomplishment here. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? Yeah, we like accomplishment. All right, and then I'm going to sew some dots to our Snapdragon. So I'm fascinated to play with the upcoming neon thread that Tula is going to be uh, selling with Aurifil. So it's going to be limited edition. I should put a pre-sign up on there actually because Aurifil said at this point it's a limited run and when it's gone, it's gone. So I think it's pretty exciting. Something different. All right, so we're putting some pairs together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my first pair, right? Because I was making a few different sections of strips together. So here, I didn't, I should have sewn one more. Okay. But I'm going to take my two sets here. I'm going to finger press them. I could go to my ironing board, but in this case, I'm just going to finger press them. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew them together. And while I do that, I'm also going to, so I'm going to take these two, put them together. I'm going to follow it up with another pair behind it. So I can make, I'll say this was the left side. So I'm going to finish it up with an extra set so I can make the right side. Right. And then let's come back and let's cut off our, oh, and do you like these? These are my Tula scissors. Ooh, ah, you have to let me know if you need Tula scissors for this holiday season. Hoo, hoo, hoo. All right, so once again, I'm going to finger press these. See, and how this looks now is that these are nice and centered. So I have these dots here in the center. So there was 3/8 cut on here. So then you have that little gap here, 1/8 of an inch to give it a nice floating dot. All right, and I'm cutting this guy off here. This is probably driving Renee crazy. Renee shared with me she would prefer doing a single thing from start to finish. But with the strips, it's not as hard to jumble around like this because it's all kind of the same thing. All right. All right. One more on this side here, and we can see how, ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. I love how that stripe's looking. Love, love, love how that stripe is looking. Oh, Renee. Renee is embracing. She's embracing new. All right. Yay. I love it. All right, so we have two tiny ones done. And actually, let's go ahead and cut this thread so we can see how cute that is. Super cute. So you can decide whether or not you wanted to fussy cut this or whether you prefer to have it staggered. Um, you could do one where you do two here and then do a whole and a half to stagger it offset a little bit so that your eyes are not disturbed if you don't quite line up the top and bottom vertically. I think this is kind of interesting. It almost looks like it's woven with those dots in there. Kind of fun. So I'm going to give this a quick press here, and then we're going to see if I can find some agate fabric. All right, because as I said, I just spied the agate fabric at the bottom of the pile. Yay. Or we could just make some stripes and random colors too. You know, always fun. So as you can see, this one goes together super, super quick, which is nice. I hope you're taking the time to work on some fun and interesting things tonight. All right, let's see here. I'm going to change the focus of the camera again to our little cutting area. Let's see if I can do this without making you seasick. All right, so we have that one and this one. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to find some more agate fabric. Oh, yeah, I have a whole fat quarter here. Yay. So, you know, we do have the kit so that it's easy peasy. You have everything that you need. Um, but I know that over the past couple years, I have made sure that we have been well stocked with our true colors, and a lot of you have taken advantage of that. So if you happen to have a stash of true colors that I've helped you accumulate, well, I'd be more than happy to help you use it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut some of this here so that we can go ahead and make some more strip sets. All right, so straighten up. So were any of you at festival? I know I talked to a couple of you today who had just come back, so that's super exciting. I'm thinking if you just came back that you are not watching live or sewing along live because you're probably catching up on laundry and all sorts of good stuff. So crazy that the Astros won the World Series, so that interrupted both market and festival. But it is really fun, even if you're not into sports, to be around that sort of festive spirit. It's really cool when the people that are working in convention facilities like that are super excited about what's going on in their hometown and just the energy that that creates. Super fun. I know at Starbucks, everyone was all decked out in their Astros gear as much as they could while still being in their Starbucks uniforms. And yeah, so just fun, 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 fun. So on Thursday night, we're going to be talking about, um, we're going to talk about the Block Bonanza and Toes in the Sand. I'll also share a little bit about with our butterfly quilt that we've been working with, as well as the home for the holiday that I've been doing. I think I forgot to post blocks for a couple weeks, which is not good because they've been done. And I want you to know that I've done my homework, you guys. Because, sometimes I don't know that you know that I've done my homework. All right, let me put this back here. I think we here. Oops. Did I lose you? Are we still there? Can you hear me? Right. Let's see. Can we see us back? Oops. Here we go. There we go. All right. Ah, you can see my mess. There we go. There we go. We're not so zoomed. I was so curious why we were so zoomed before. I do not know. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more. You really shouldn't see how messy that I am. That's not good. It's creative genius, right? Yes. All right, let's go back here. I was feeling a little close earlier. All right. So now we are going to, what are we going to do? We are going to make some of this one and this one. And then we're going to be doing this and this. Okay. 2, 3. All right. And thanks, Beth, for helping me out and letting me know you could hear me. I appreciate that. So, Beth, which one are you working on now? So, all right. One. All right, we're just sewing along here, sewing along. Ooh, Beth is working ahead. She just finished the mini log cabin blocks, picking fabric for the medium. Hoo hoo hoo, fancy. I was down here sewing last week on a different project, and it was really fun how we've done the setup here. I have um, a screen so I can see your comments really close in front of me for the where I sew, and so that was fun. I can. So then I was watching some YouTube videos then while I was sewing. So one, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting to myself. I need to find the other pieces that I cut. Just gonna quick get up here. Here we go. I found them. So we've been getting in, as I said, a ton of new fabrics, and so today and we got Songbook 2 that is by Fancy That Design House. She's right out of the Milwaukee area, so that's pretty exciting. I always love it when we have things from local people. Like we have so many talented people locally. We have Fancy That Design House, which is new. We have Kim Schaefer. We have Lisa from Primitive Gatherings. We have Julie from JJ Stitches, but we don't do a lot of reproduction kind of fabric, so we don't see that in the store. Lots of great fabric designers. If there's anyone watching who was waiting on the Delight pattern for the Jaybird sew along that's starting tomorrow, I'm sad to say that our order still hasn't come in. So I apologize for that if you were waiting from us for it. Super bummer. Try to get all of our things in alignment so that everything can work with all the different quilt alongs. Two more. Beth highly recommends leaders and enders. Yes. Let me put this on the thing here, put this up here on the board. So I've been using my leaders and enders just as scrap fabric because I haven't been educating everyone. So in order to have it be planned like Beth is talking about, what you do is you always have things that you can put together. So you still are never, so you're not cutting this ever. So like, let's just say this here. Let's say we're going to take all of our leftover these guys and put them together. So then this here, we'd sew together because we're just getting ready to trim. And so this is staying in the machine because that's just a random thing that we're putting together. So it's great for making a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. And Renee, I know that's just going to mess with your sense of order. But if you're going to be working with a true leader and ender quilt, Um, it's really good to work with scraps, and then you don't need to worry about your sense of order on those things. So, Beth, I think you are on to a really amazing idea that while we're doing this, I need to come up with a great project that I can have everyone work from, that literally they will be working with, they can make 2 quilts at the same time. I think that'd be fabulous. All right, so I'm going to finger press and I'm going to start putting things together. Yay. All right, I'm going to put 2 of these together. Now, with these being so short, I'm not pinning, right? I'm being rebellious and I'm not pinning. But as we saw the last time we were together, I do pin when we're working with larger units. So it's just these little guys, these little bite size, I often feel are just the size that are, what would be between 2 pins anyhow. So that's my logic. All right, and then these are going to go on the ends of those. So we're going to set those aside. And then in my lap, I had these guys. So I'm going to cut some. And oh, yeah, I also need to get one of those chain stitch breakers. That's really not what it's called. It's a chain stitch, the cutter, chain cutter. But it's more fun to use Tula scissors to just entice you to want the Tula scissors with their shimmery, rainbowy finish. Ooh, ah. And we are almost done with our units. I will have only made one of our orange units because I will fussy cut more orange stripes right after we're done. Mm, I could do it better if I'm just holding one piece at a time, right? One, two. Just making sure that I'm not going to sew too many things together. So the alternate way that you could have done this would be to sew a long strip set together that you then subcut to sew back together. When we're making so few of them, I go back and forth with efficiencies of what makes the most sense. So we would have sewn them together like this, cut them apart to sew them. Because we have so few, I do hesitate. I need to take 2 to put them on the end of a different one, so we'll wait for those. So that's why I'm not opposed to sewing them individually like this. For the orange set where we were fussy cutting, we absolutely would not. Strip piece those and then subcut because we'd be wasting a lot more of the solid fabric. So, but once again, there's no, if you didn't want to fussy cut it, you don't have to. is just what I chose to do. All right, so now with my leader, so if I was doing true leaders and enders, I would have just added in a piece and then taken the whole chain off. I'm just going to pull off my stargazer and agate. So I need to add on one more set to this. So I'm going to finger press this. So I know we have almost a dozen of you watching live with us here. So let me know either offline or comment here if there are things you would prefer me to talk about or prefer to do, or if you just are excited here having someone to hang out with in your sewing room. You know, part of what we're doing here is that I want to be able to work on our samples, be able to provide you a little bit of education, but it's really for us, or for me, it's creating the appointment to sit down and get this piecing done. Uh, a lot of times we get home from the store and, just exhausted or too much paperwork or whatever. And so sometimes I don't always get everything done that I'd like to get done. And so by sitting here with you, well, hopefully it's kind of interesting. Um, I'm able to just dedicate the time to get a little bit of sewing. All right, so I got that. Now I'm going to, yay. So we have those guys that will press. And then I have this one here that I just need to add one more set on the end too. This. All right, and all right, so I have a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to quick press this out so that we can look at it. And if you wanted to, since we're zipping quite along, and I have my other Snapdragon already cut out. I'm gonna probably do the last do the last palm piece while we're still here. So I'm over by my ironing board, so I'll talk to you while, so you know I'm still here. Oh, hey, Jenny. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're zoomed in on the sewing machine so that you can see all the good stuff that we're doing. Not actually right now, since I'm over at the ironing board. So as I am ironing this, the one thing about taking the time to press in between each of the steps is that if you do press open, it is easier to press open at every piece of the way rather than waiting till the end. If you press to one side, it matters not. It doesn't seem to make a difference. I tend to press open more often than not. So just a wee bit of a challenge that I am up for. So look at that. That's really nice. One more long one, and then we have the two shorts to do, and then we'll go ahead and cut that orange, or maybe we just cut the orange. Maybe we just cut the orange. That's more exciting than listening to me press. All right, I'm going to cut some more orange, and as we discussed, it's not necessarily the most fabric efficient cutting for this stripe. Let's see if I can position us here. All right, hopefully we're not too dizzy. And I think that looks pretty good. I just have to quick come over here so I can see something. All right. Now, since it's not on my eyes, it's hard to see the it's not auto focusing as well. All right, so I'm lining up here. I just need 3 of these guys. And we are doing that fussy cut so that we get it this nice in the center. Let's see with this one if I am able to get both of them out. Nope. Nope. So as I said, not fabric efficient for this particular block, but man, it is cool. I think it's cool at least. All right, 1. And so I have enough fabric here to make this happen. Let me see if I can show you this way. I have enough fabric, but I wouldn't get the effect that I want because these aren't centered. So if I'm going to be so fussy about it, I'm going to take this and make it go away, and I just have one good one. All right, let's do another one. Try it again. And so I'm going to be fussy cutting my dot center again. So wasting a bunch of fabric. Sometimes you got to sacrifice it to get the good look, right? Now, if I were smart about this, I probably, what if I do this rather than trying to do my crazy math world? I could go like this, layered on top, and simply do this. Ha ha, ha ha. Look at that. Well, that was pretty cool. All right, and then one last one. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing because that was pretty brilliant. Okay, there we go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, and then we can go back and finish up our strips. Once again, pay no attention to the giant mess as we fan back this way. No attention. Pay no attention anymore. When I redid this, I sadly got off the autofocus, so apologize for that. And let's go back, finish up our strips, and then we will have all of our little strips done. So our homework is complete. Yay! And we will be back in business. All right. So, as a recap so far, we have the small strips and the second strips and the long guys. And now we're going to finish up with our fussy cut palms and Snapdragon Solid. They're a little bit longer, and we did that fussy cutting with the dots, so they're pretty cool. All right. Woohoo! And I am not pinning because these are little strips. I really like Beth's idea about having a leader and ender quilt going. So I'll have to think about this so that I can create a fun little pattern or find a cute little pattern for you so that we can just play along and have something so that you can feel super productive and never ever have to separate again. Right, a little bit here. And so I'm not playing that game, so I'm just feeding in a little store apple fabric there. Using my giant Tula shears here. Okay, I'm going to finger press. Finger press and put them together. And then we have one more seam. One more seam. One more seam. Line that up. So once again, you can decide whether or not you want your dots to be lined up or not. I just thought it'd be fun to see that along the way. All right, so let's just pop this back up and so I can say goodbye before we head out. So I do want to thank you for joining us tonight on our crazy little sew along in my sewing room. We made a few different blocks, and I thank you for hanging out with me while I was able to get my work done. We are going to be live on Thursday night from the store. And on Thursday night, we will talk about our block bonanza. We will be talking about toes in the sand. I'll bring this along. We'll also talk about I should show it to you since we are here and I have it with me, just leaning across. You get to see me up close here, just because, you have all the fun stuff so we can see it all, right? We're going to talk a little bit about the home for the holidays as well. We have that quilt along that we're doing with Sherry and Chelsea. And I think you all saw this one here that was super fun. These are giant 18-inch blocks that we're going to put together in a sampler, but they also can be separate as done as pillows or something, or you could just repeat one of the quilt blocks and make them all the same. And I'm not sure, so you'll just have to stay tuned on Thursday to see me talk a little bit more about these. Tomorrow, I'll be posting the block that they're releasing tomorrow. See, aren't those fun? And that's that peppermint bark fabric by Basic Gray. I just love Basic Gray. I love all fabric. Super fun. Sharon, thanks for liking the leader and ender idea. We got to give Beth credit for that. But I think that we should have like a really cool, just so that you have something that you can work on, whether you're working on this one or something else. That point is just to have those blocks in the side so that you can just keep going. All right, so I showed you all sorts of good stuff. I was supposed to stay on task and show you only Tula, but just got to show you all the stuff. So you got to tune in Thursday. We're also going to be giving a little sneak peek into some upcoming quilt-alongs you have to look forward to as to why you have to stay on track with what you are working on now. And because there's all sorts of quilts to make. And a lot of times when you are quilting along with other people, you can keep a bunch of these different things going and just keep moving on. I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. We are at the store Tuesday through Saturday, online all the time. Feel free to comment, message, email, call, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.